So in this video, we're going to be working with special right triangles, right? We have two special cases of the right triangle. The first one we already saw on another video is the 45, 45, 90 triangle. 45, 45, 90 triangle. That means that this is an isosceles triangle, right? Because we have two congruent angles. So the opposite legs are also congruent, right? And the hypotenuse is going to be a square root of 2 times whatever those legs are, right? My second special case of a triangle is a 30, 60 triangle, right? A 30, 60, 90 triangle, right? We have 30, 60, and 90, right? The opposite side to the 30 angle is the smallest leg. The opposite side to the 60 triangle is the longest leg. And this is the hypotenuse. As you can see, the side opposite to 30 is the smallest, so it's A. The longest leg is square root of 3 times that measure, so A is square root of 3. And the hypotenuse is twice the smallest leg. It's twice the smallest leg. So let's see a couple of exercises. This one. So now I have my theorem right here. So I have that this is a, first of all, we're going to identify what type of triangle this is. So this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle, right? Because if this one is 60, that means that this side is 30, or this angle is 30, right? So B is my smallest side. Why? Because it's opposite to the 30, and A is my longest leg because it's opposite to 60. So I'm using this theorem right here, right? So because this is the smallest, that means that this leg, the hypotenuse, is 2 times B. 2 times whatever is B. So this is equal to the hypotenuse. So it's equal to 2 square root of 3, right? So I'm solving for B. So if I divide by 2, that B is the square root of 3, right? And now A, so A equals whatever B is times the square root of 3. So it's the smallest side times the square root of 3. So that means that in this case, A equals, we know that B is already the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. So that means that this equals to the square root of 9. That is 3. And there I have my A and B. Okay, so the second one, this one is a 45, 45 triangle. As you can see, those two sides, those two legs, the legs are congruent to each other because it's an isosceles triangle. So that means that in this case, B equals 7 square root of 3 over 6, right? And U is whatever is the legs, whatever is the legs. So U equals whatever is the legs. So in this case, 7 square root of 3 over 6 times the square root of 2, times the square root of 2. So that means that U equals 7 square root of 6 over 6. And that's it. Again, I have a 45, 45 triangle. So my legs are congruent. So that means that V equals 5 square root of 2. And my hypotenuse is U equals 5 square root of 2. Whatever is the legs times the square root of 2. Again, whatever is the measure of the legs times the square root of 2 is the hypotenuse. So this one is 5 square root of 4. So I have 5 times 2 is 10. It's 10. So the next one, again, I'm going to identify my triangle. So this one is a 30, 60 triangle. 60, 90 triangle. So I'm using this one right here. So because this one is 30, that means that this is the smallest side, right? So the hypotenuse, is whatever the smallest side is times 2 is twice that measure. So in this case, I cancel out the 2, so this is 7, right? The longest side, the longest leg, so n equals whatever the measure of the smallest side, so in this case is 7 over 2 times the square root of 3. So this is 7 square root of 3 divided by 2. There I have both measures. Okay. So the next one. Now I have another 45 triangle. So now I have my hypotenuse, right? So that means that I know that x equals y. I know that x equals y. Right? So let's find just x, right? Because it's the same. So the hypotenuse is whatever is the side. So x times the square root of 2. So in this case, it's x square root of 2 equals the hypotenuse. So it's 7. So I'm going to solve for x. So the square root of 2. Right? So I'm going to rationalize the denominator by multiplying times the square root of 2 numerator and denominator. So 7 square root of 2 over the square root of 4. So x equals 7 square root of 2 over 2, right? And y is exactly the same. So 7 square root of 2 over 2. So in this case, I want to find x. But as you can see, in this case, I have a triangle here that this one is a 30-60 triangle. 30-60 triangle, right? And a 45-45-90 triangle over here. So first of all, I need to find what's the side that is sharing both triangles. So it's this side right here. So it's a hypotenuse for both sides. So I need to start finding this side right here to then find x, right? But I'm going to start working with just a 30-60 triangle. So this is the longest side of that triangle. So first of all, I need to find this side. Let's name it A, right? So as you know, the uh, longest leg is whatever is the smallest leg of that triangle times the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. So I'm going to solve that equation. So 7 square root of 6 equals A times the square root of 3. So I'm going to divide by the square root of 3. So A equals, now I can divide that 6 and 3 because both of them are inside of a square root. So 7 square root of 2, right? So I have that this is 7 square root of 2. Now I need to find the hypotenuse, right? Because we know that the hypotenuse is 2 times the smallest side. So that means that this one is 14 square root of 2. So 14 square root of 2. Now that I have that the hypotenuse is 14 square root of 2, now I can find x, right? In the 45-45 degree triangle, my hypotenuse is the measure of the legs times the square root of 2. So the hypotenuse is x times the square root of 2. But I have the measure that this equals 14 square root of 2 because I already found it. So I'm just dividing by the square root of 2. So that means that x equals 14. Okay, so in this one, I have the hypotenuse of a 45-45-90 degree triangle. And I want to find the longest leg of a 30-60 triangle. So I need to find the leg of this 45-45 degree triangle. So let's name this one A. Right? So we know that in a 45-45 degree triangle, the hypotenuse is whatever is the leg. So A times the square root of 2. So I'm just solving 9 equals A square root of 2. I'm going to divide by the square root of 2. So A equals 9 square root of 2. I'm going to rationalize that denominator. So the square root of 2, the square root of 2. That means that this is 9 square root of 2 over. The square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4. So that's 2. So I know that this side is 9 square root of 2 over 2. So x equals the measure of the smallest leg of a 30-60 triangle times the square root of 3. So x equals 9 square root of 6 over 2. And that's it right there. Okay, so number 8. On number 8, I have the longest leg of a 30-60-90 triangle. And I want to find the hypotenuse of the 45-45-90 triangle. So I need to find this leg that is actually the smallest leg of that 30-60 triangle. So let's name that one B, right? So 6 equals B times the square root of 3. So the longest leg of a 30-60 triangle is whatever is the measure of the smallest leg times the square root of 3. So I'm just solving right there. So I'm going to divide by the square root of 3. That means that B equals 6 square root of 3. Again, I'm going to rationalize by multiplying times the square root of 3. Right? 6 square root of 3 times the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 9. And the square root of 9 is 3. Then that B equals 2 square root of 3. So now I know that this is 2 square root of 3. Right? And the hypotenuse of a 45-45 degree triangle. So x equals 2 times, or sorry, not 2 times, the 2 times the square root of 3 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 2. That means that x equals to a square root of 6. A square has a side length of 95. What is the length of the diagonal of the square? Express your answer in simplest radical form. Okay, so I have the square right here, right? So I know that the length of the side is 95. 95, right? So this is a square, so this means that this is 90. As you know, each angle, each diagonal bisects a pair uh, of opposite angles. So that means that it forms two 45, 45, 90 triangle, right? So I have that my hypotenuse is 95 times the square root of 2, right? Why? Because it's a 45, 45 degree triangle, right? So this is 95, and the hypotenuse is the square root of 2 times the length of the legs, right? So the diagonal, the length of the diagonal is 95 square root of 2 units. So that's it for this lesson. May the force be with you.